Hey, my name is B.A.M, and this is the second part to my mini-series of videos. It's been a while since the last time I posted, and a lot of things have changed since then. The original script for this video was just going to cover that other half of the story that I told in the last video, which involves my ex-best friend. While I'm still going to cover the rest of the situation, I also want to address what's changed in my life since that past incident as a whole, and how I'm handling now. So, without further ado, let's begin with a recap. Now, of course, it's not necessary to watch the last video if you haven't already seen it, although I highly recommend you do so because it gives a lot more context and insight into what I'm talking about in this video, although again, not at all necessary. So, in case you forgot or you didn't see the last one, in the last video, I talked about my ex-girlfriend and the toxic relationship / dynamic we had both when we were together and after we broke up. She was manipulative, degrading, and fed into my insecurities at the time. When we separated, she led me on for an entire summer, talking to me on and off and telling me that we weren't getting back together, while the next day going on and on about how much she loved and missed me. All the meanwhile, behind my back, she was talking to multiple dudes and completely led me on. It all came to a head when I found out she was talking to my best friend, and, flashing forward to today, I now have nothing but the most absolute hatred for her. Although I moved on, and I've even found new love, which I will get back to later, I will never forgive her for how emotionally taxing that relationship was, and how poorly I was treated. However, that excludes the other half of that story, being my best friend's actions and how we inevitably had a falling out. And so, I think it's finally time to close out this story. Before I get into what my best friend actually did, I want to first give you an idea of how close we were and what I considered him to be in my life. Now, to set the stage, I've known this guy since first grade. We've been in the same class for over 10 years, and we were friends for almost just as long. I remember playing youth soccer with him and us being on the same team, and I remember he was in my friend group in middle school. We were good friends then, but we didn't start to get close until high school, where I began to consider him as my best friend. He helped me through all of the rough times of my life, and I did the same for him. And I would go so far as to consider him my brother. I would have taken a bullet for this guy like he was the fucking president, and wouldn't have regretted my decision for a second. I'm pretty confident in saying that he most definitely felt just as strongly about me. Long story short, he was more than a best friend to me, and I trusted him with my life. Of course, though, not all stories have a good ending, and this one is no exception. While I was going through all this shit with my ex, I was very open with my best friend about what was going on between us and my mental decline. He knew I was struggling a lot through this, and he tried his best to comfort me and validate my feelings, while also helping me realize that not every mistake was my fault. As the summer went on, though, he began talking to me about my ex more as they became friends and would talk more frequently. I didn't think anything malicious of this, as they were friends while her and I were together, and she was simply venting to him just as I was. Or at least that's what I was told. I now know that not everyone is as honest as they claim, because I later found out they were talking way more than just as friends. Going into August, school has already started at this point, and I see them being around each other more and more, and it signaled a lot of red flags internally for me. Eventually, it got to the point where I was very upset with my best friend and texted him while he was at football practice one day. Although I didn't say it explicitly, I basically gave him an ultimatum to choose between her and I, and once he responded, he didn't really give an answer. He said if I was uncomfortable with it, he would cut it off, but I told him that I wanted him to decide what he thought was the right choice. He told me he didn't really know what I wanted from him because I, quote, wasn't being clear, but it feel like I was being extremely clear with what I wanted him to do by bringing it up to him in the first place, but maybe that's just me, I don't know. The next day, though, I got my answer when I still saw them together again. Originally, my plan was to stay friends with him, but just distance myself, though that didn't last long. A couple weeks later, we were in class with a substitute teacher who was a pain in the ass about phones, and my friends and I, including my best friend, kept trying to piss the teacher off by having our phones out. I took my best friend's phone to see if I could get it taken away, and I made the mistake of turning it on. There was a text from my ex, and although I don't know what the message was or what it said, all I saw was how she was saved in his phone. It was her name, followed by the heart hands emoji. I tried hiding my disdain in the moment, but that was the last straw for me. Later that day, I told him to stop talking to me and texting me as I didn't want any form of communication with him anymore. That was in October, and it's now May. It's been well over half a year since I stopped being friends with him, and I'm about to graduate in less than 20 days. Although dealing with the loss of such a close friendship was difficult to cope with at first, I would say my senior year hasn't been damaged by it. However, that's not to say that this loss didn't affect me at all. I'm still deeply hurt by him and his actions, and it feels like a large part of my life is missing now. I'm no longer bothered by the fact that he's with my ex. I could care less at this point, honestly. But it goes a lot deeper than that. To me, it's more a matter of betrayal and principle. I was lied to about the extent of their relationship, and I was the second choice to a man I've known nearly my entire life. After I had already cut him off, his actions consistently reaffirmed the idea that our friendship meant nothing to him, constantly posting about me on social media and talking about me. He claims that he is the victim and that he did nothing wrong. At the same time, he also cries wolf and says he misses me as a friend. In all honesty, I would not be opposed to having a civil conversation with him if he actually wanted to take accountability for his actions and show remorse. But he has yet to do so, or even attempted to reach out in some way. To me, this shows that he never cared to begin with and still doesn't, as, if he did, he would have tried to own up for his actions. Or, more simply, he even could have tried having a discussion about it, which he didn't, because he doesn't care. And if he doesn't care, then neither do I. So, where does that leave me now? How have I grown from this entire experience? Or am I still constantly haunted by these past relationships? Truth is, I'm far better off right now than I was a year ago, maybe even half a year ago. Although I'm now cautious with how much trust I put in other people, I've still kept my closest and most reliable friendships while also sticking closer to myself and my small group. I'd say I'm pretty sociable, but at the same time, I've never been one to put myself out there, so I mainly focus on myself and the people I care about. Long after my ex and I split, I planned to not get into any more relationships until I started college, but between that, I did talk to a couple girls. The first one I didn't really feel all that invested or just interested in general, and we stopped talking after some time, around February. While I was nearing the end of that talking stage, I met someone new who I instantly felt connected to. We got together in March, and we are still together now. Our relationship is very strong, and this is the most serious and emotionally mature relationship I've been in thus far. She's shown me what it's like to be treated properly and opened my eyes to how bad my previous relationship actually was. All that to say, I'm pretty happy where I'm at now. This past year has been a roller coaster for me, but especially comparing myself now to where I was when I posted my first video ever, I've grown a lot, I'd say. Yes, these people have altered the course of my life and the way I approach the people I care about. But, at the same time, it's with these harsh reality checks that I've been able to learn and mature as a person. I can't say I'm happy about the road that took me here, but what I can say is that I'm more than happy with the destination and where I'm going forward. Thanks for watching all the way through. I know the first video was nearly 4 times as long as this one, so for this part 2 I actually wrote a script for once. Wow. The first 2 videos I made, I kind of just went along with whatever's on my mind. There was no flow to those videos at all, hence the long lengths. That's partly why I wrote a script for this video, but I also did it because I want this video to be more digestible. And also, just to perform better for the algorithm. In the future, expect more videos with scripts and more actual thought and quality put into them, though I'm not going to go all out. The next video I plan to make is an introduction for the channel and for myself, so stay tuned for that. I don't have a channel schedule at all, but also expect videos to be more consistent. I know I said that last time, but I'm gonna actually try sticking to it. We'll see where it goes. And, of course, my time is also very limited, especially these next couple of months with me graduating and transitioning into college life. So don't expect like weekly videos or some unrealistic like that. But I can promise videos aren't going to be spaced months between each other. So look out for that. Anyways, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, or if you want to. I'm not your mom. You can't force you to do anything. Keep an eye out for the next video. Until then.